Hi, I'm Janet Bailey. I'm a Brisbane-based retail interior designer, and I love to talk about retail things with my friend in Melbourne.
And I'm Debra Templar, a retail strategist, and I love talking retail and working with retailers all over the country.
Hi, Deb. How are you?
I'm really good, thanks, Janet.
And I'll just add too, these are our own personal opinions while we tape these.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, what's taken your fancy this week? What have you come across, Janet?
Okay, well, look, one of the really hot topics that keeps popping up is talking about the boomers generation and how retailers are just forgetting about them and not catering to them. And this is something that you and I were just talking about off camera a little while ago, was that, I've made the comments to you that I've noticed previously in fashion shows that very often the brands and the clothing are worn by the skinny little young stick insects who that is not their market. It's the older women sitting in the audience who have the money, who want to be buying that fashion, and yet it's not represented on the catwalk. Now, you've just had the Melbourne Fashion Festival, and it was lovely to see an older model, Elle, come out to highlight in your fashion festival.
Oh, absolutely. It's still going on. So
Yes.
it goes on for the whole week. And it was lovely seeing Elle. I noted someone said, oh, and she had such luscious hair. Well, yes, she did. But what got me was the long, skinny legs. I thought, oh, if only. But no, it was really good to see.
Yes, yeah. Now, when they're talking about isolating the boomers and forgetting about them and forgetting to market to them, we're not talking about shops needing to have, a bright lighting and all of those things that you might associate with the older people. What we're basically talking about, well, the other term that I've heard for boomers is seenagers. Have you heard that one?
No, I haven't.
Yes, senior teenagers. They still want to be living like they're teenagers, but now they've got the money.
Absolutely. Well, like uh, from what I've heard, and I've certainly believed it over the last few years, 50's the new 30, 60's the new 40. Um, like people who are in their 50s and 60s are not like the nanas and the perms and the floral dresses that we remember, like
Like,
years ago, someone who was older. But
yeah.
yeah, I really do think the retail market is tending to ignore boomers. Like, I even hate the terminology boomer. You hear people go, sure, boomer. Like, it's so derogatory.
I know. And look, that's only just come about recently. I blame my kids. It was their generation, I think, that came up with that term.
Yeah,
Before that, everything was just fine.
yeah,
And didn't the Lamb ad represent all the breakup of the generations this year, the Australia Day Lamb ad?
yeah.
Yeah,
Like, seriously, it's just ridiculous.
yeah.
To judge, we're in such an ageist society that it's crazy rubbish, which is why it was just such a joy to see Elle back on a runwalk, doing a runway, not a run walk, runway, doing her stuff, strutting her stuff.
Yeah.
And it's interesting watching social media and looking at all the young influencers raving about Elle.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, how old is she? 50, 52, somewhere around
Oh
there?
no, she'd be older than that. She'd be late 50s, I think.
Is that right?
Yeah, she's a bit older than me.
Okay, okay, okay. Well,
Yeah.
because you're only in your 30s.
No, of course, Deb. Thank you so much. Um,
It seems to be the fashion industry is chronically bad in recognising boomers or
yes,
recognising, older demographics. And then
absolutely.
when they think they are marketing to those demographics, like, it's ridiculous. Anyone would think anyone over 50, 45 even, doesn't know how to use a computer or a phone.
Exactly, that's right. Yep. And look, I have to say, fashion is the industry, the retail industry that comes to mind when we do talk about this topic.
Mm,
And I would probably say that my three favorite brands, or not necessarily my three favorite, but three regular brands that I shop at would be Country Road, Sportscraft, and Midas Shoes. Now, the one thing I notice, especially about Country Road and Sportscraft, is that they have the longevity of having been around for long enough that they have endured multiple generations now. And I think that where we're seeing one fashion label that is aware of the issue of marketing to all the generations and not forgetting about them is Country Road. So they have just celebrated their 50th year of business now. And what they did is they introduced, they've done a couple of promo videos and stuff. So they had one for summer of 2023. And it was a bit of a weird film, but they used an Italian model, Elisabetta Desi, and she was 65 and she was the feature of this film. It didn't quite convey, I don't think, the Country Road image, but it certainly did put an older model up. And then what they've then done for their newer release is that they've done a bit of a behind the scenes background of shooting a fashion campaign out in the outback with all the beautiful red sand and everything. And they featured the photographer who's been with Country Road for years and years. So they've brought him back and they're showing behind the scenes. But the model that they're using, Gemma Ward, I think it is, she is sitting there and talking about how she was introduced to Country Road by her mother because her mother used to wear it. So I think that in that, just that very statement that they've captured on, okay, so we've got a market that is being passed on through the generations from mother to daughter, parent to child, that is worth capitalizing on. And kudos to them, because when you go into Country Road, Sportscraft, and Midas, I always find that they're predominantly older women working there, which is fantastic because they know their stock and they're realistic. They know what's going to suit your body type as you're getting
mm,
older, but they can also work in with the younger
mm,
ones.
mm. Well, we've got a fashion label here in Melbourne called Motto. It's a mother and daughter, Faye and Lauren, and it's been around for 20 odd years, probably more. I should have done my research. But their clothing is fantastic. They used to go up to a size 16. Now I notice they're going up to a size 20. So they're getting different sizes in. But their clothes are for all ages. Faye, I think, has just turned 70, much to her amazement. Um, and so she models things, her daughter models things, that they have a whole range of other people supporting their clothes. And
Yeah.
what they do, they regularly do Facebook Live. So they show you how to look. This is the difference between wearing our clothes and actually styling our clothes. So you can wear it this way, this is what it looks like, or you could do this, and this is what it looks like. And they've got a huge following.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
That's
and really, and they're not, and it's ageless.
Yes, yes. Because when you think about it, the boomers, I'm using the term now, are holding 50% of the world's wealth within that generation. And a lot of the retailers have just been focusing on capturing that millennials market so that they can assure themselves of having a really large market that feeds up through the years and services their brand. But yeah, I mean, we're seeing boomers who are paying for kids, for grandkids' school fees and things like that. So they're so cashed up that it's just absolutely silly not to cater for them. And especially in the fashion industry that we're talking about.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And when you actually look at where, as you said, where the wealth is, uh, it sort of defies description as to why businesses aren't really tapping into it.
Yeah. So now that it's such big news and it's just this whole discussion about marketing to the boomers and how they've been forgotten. In the last 3 days, I have just seen so many outlets talking about this. It's going to be interesting to see who does actually listen and picks up on this. Like I say, the ones with longevity that have been around for long enough to know that they've got multiple generations, they are aware of it. They could be probably doing it a bit better.
Mm.
Yeah.
Personally, I just like for it to be seamless. I don't want things specifically marketed to a boomer or
No.
any other demographic. I just
Yeah.
want things marketed and have a wide variation. We can but dream. We can but dream and support those that do it well, hey?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I
That's a
think
good
that's it
wrap.
for today.
I think so. Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
well, I'll leave you to your humidity.
Thanks, Deb. Do you want to
I'll
swap for
walk back into the air conditioning and I'll see you next time.
I will. See you later. Bye, Deb.
Bye.